What's up, y'all? I'm Chris, and today we're going to review the Hyperlite Admiral stand-up paddleboard. And I'm not very comfortable on camera, and I hate watching video of myself. So tonight, after I film this, I'm going to hire a stranger on the internet to edit all of this into YouTube format of me rambling on about a paddleboard for you to watch. So let's get into it. This is the Hyperlite Admiral. I picked it up this summer from the Costco website. It shipped to my door. It's the first inflatable stand-up paddleboard I've had. I've had a bunch of rigid boards, but I thought, you know what? I want to try it. I'm interested in the inflatable stand-up paddleboard. Why? Because paddleboards are huge. When I got into the sport, I was excited. We spent a lot of time on the water, spent a lot of time wakeboard, sailboat, throwing boards into the truck to go travel somewhere. And when I got into paddleboarding, I realized these boards are really huge. So an inflatable board, why inflatable? Because you can pack this up and you can take it with you on whatever adventure you're going on. But you can only do that but it's only worth it if it's durable, if it's fun to use, if you don't think you're riding on a bag full of air, if it feels like you're riding on a board. And this one, yes, definitely feels that way. So we're going to cover everything that I can think of to talk about on this board. We're going to cover the size, the shape, the style, who's it good for, warranty, quality, how is it to use. And I want to do more of these reviews. This is the first inflatable board I've had. Bought it beginning of the season. I've kept it inflated most of the season, let the air out of it, take it to the beach. It's been great. I want to get more of these and do the same tests over and over and see if I can establish which ones are good boards, which ones are good values. I've been into board sports all my life. About 10 years ago, my wife and I got into stand-up paddleboarding, rigid boards, and what we found out pretty soon, like almost immediately, we bought the boards, loved it, try to bring a rigid board home. They're huge. They're big boards. I mean, the physics of a board that's going to float you on the water, I'm not faulting anybody. I'm not saying blame Laird. Like, it's a big board. So always wanted to try inflatable stand-up paddleboards. This summer, my wife and I got a pair of these, Costco.com, $399.99. $399.99. Let's just round up. On this video, we're going to round it. $400. $400 for a board. We got a pair of them, so 2 boards for $800. Board comes with a board bag, a paddle. We're going to go through all that in this video. I thought, you know what? Why not? It's yeah, it's from Costco. It's not from a high-end retail. I don't know if we should say that really, but it was at $400. It's a great way to get into the inflatable paddleboard. So we went for it, bought 2 of them, enjoyed them this season, and I want to talk about it. I want to do some reviews. I want to get more of them, and let's move on to the next topics. All right, let's get into the details. Size, 11 feet long, 34 inches wide. Shape, I would call this a longboard style. It's basically what you would expect to see in a stand-up paddleboard. It mimics it looks like a longboard surfboard. That's what I'm trying to say. It looks like a longboard surfboard, has rocker. I was really impressed for an inflatable board to have some bow rocker. That does really help when you're paddling. I've noticed that with this one. Aesthetics and appeal. How does it look? I like it. I think it's a good look. It's not too loud. It's not one way or the other. I like the brown pad, kind of like a wood grain. Yeah, I think it's great. I think that anybody could paddle it and enjoy it. Rider size, who's it good for? I don't want to sound one size fits all. I don't want to be general. This is a good shape and size paddleboard to get started on. I'm 6 foot, 190 pounds. It works for me. My wife is 5'3". She's petite. It works for her. Our kids can paddle it around. No, it's not a kid's paddleboard, but our kids can paddle around. They enjoy it. If you were taller than me and weighed more than me, it would work still. It's got a lot of variability of who it will work for. I can't say that any size shape person is going to not fit this board. This is a good place to start, a good place to get into the sport. Yes, it's my first inflatable paddleboard, but I'm comparing it to the rigid boards that I've had and the surf style boards that we've had. It's a good place to start. And especially $400 and all the things that it comes with that I want to cover, it's a good place. Quality. Nothing that I can say is missing. Nothing that I can pick apart and say there's a loose seam or anything of that nature. I look forward to getting some higher end paddle boards and comparing this Hyperlite to say a red. I think that's what I might order next. But I can't find any negatives. It's for $400. It's awesome. I mean, I think that you could compare it to a lot of higher end boards and it would still be awesome. It's held up well. It's held up all season. I will say this bothered me at first. If you look, you're seeing some of the shots probably, there's some yellow around some of these patches. That bothered me. And then I thought, you know what? That's glue. Glue yellows in the sun. I had rather it be over glued and be on there than under glued and have a loose seam. So I'm not complaining about that. Quality wise, Hyperlite, that's a name I'm familiar with. I've been in water sports, been riding wakeboards a long time. Getting ready to do this video, I counted up. I think my wife and I have had 6 Hyperlite wakeboards or surfboards. Our kids have a Hyperlite wakeboard right now. So we've had 6 of them over the years. I've never had a warranty claim. Put a lot of hours on them. I've never had a warranty claim. So, and I know, okay, you can spare me in the comments. If you've had a warranty claim on a Hyperlite, I'm sure somebody out there is going to watch this and they have, just smash the thumbs down button twice. Or let me know it if they're solid. They're solid. For me, Hyperlite's a household name. So go to Costco, big box store. Yeah, Hyperlite. It's a household name. I was confident to buy it. I was confident to put out $400 on it. It's lasted all season. Most of the year, I've left it inflated. We've got a pair of them. I left them with the air in them. Keep them out of the sun. You should keep any board out of the sun. You should keep any wakeboard, surfboard, whatever. Sun will eat it up. I've kept it inflated, and we've for 3-4 weeks and use it and throw it. Don't throw your boards. Use it, store it in the shade, leave the air in it. I've seen no problem with leaving the air in it. Let the air out of it, pack them up, take them to the beach. That's been awesome. So quality, yeah, I think it's awesome. I mean, if you want to get into paddleboarding, where should you start? This is such an easy way to get into it, right? Like I didn't pull the trigger on getting inflatable paddleboards for a long time, and I researched them, and I can tell you about Uli and Red and Boat and some others. They're all great. I bought the $400 one. Warranty, I looked up the warranty, 1 year replacement warranty from Hyperlite, and Costco big box store. If there was a problem, I can't see them not making it good. I've not had a problem, but I'm confident. I've had a lot of Hyperlite products. Yeah, I've had no bad experiences. Drop stitching. We got to talk about the drop stitching. So what is drop stitching? Maybe we'll do another video where we get into that more. I'm still learning about it. So this is a shell, a rubber or a synthetic shell top, bottom, sides. You put air in it, it doesn't blow up like a football. Why is that? That's because the top and the bottom are stitched together. I need more hands. Stitched together so that when the air goes in them, those stitches, threads, hold this shape. So you can see, if you look real close in this board, little dents, kind of like a golf ball. I've spent some time looking over it, top and bottom. I haven't found any thread failures, no issues with a stitch pop or anything like that. The manual says inflate to 15 PSI. I've inflated it to 18 PSI. I've inflated it to 18 PSI a good bit. No problems, none at all. So quality, yeah, the quality's there for me. How is it to use? I want to show you the torture test of us. I want to show you the torture test of me putting some real weight on this and trying to see, does it buckle, does it flex? In use, it feels great. Like, it's in use, you really get a quality ride. For the majority of people that are going to paddleboard, you are not going to notice the difference in this board or another quality inflatable board and a rigid board. There's just not that much difference between the two. And we could argue, we could discuss the benefits of either one. Some of the benefits of the inflatable are you can pack it up. If you got kids and they're playing with it, it doesn't, you don't have to worry about them slamming it into the boat or slamming it into the dock and chipping it, or slamming it into each other and chipping each other. Weight, I think that overall inflatable boards are a lighter product than most of the rigid boards. And I think that I'd say there has to be, if you're just getting into the sport, I'm trying to put myself in a beginner's mindset. If you're just getting into the sport, there has to be a comfort level with falling on something that is not rigid. There has to be a confidence level in that. Also, it's not going to dent. You're not going to heel dent it. You're not going to do some of the things that are common on a surfboard or on a rigid stand-up paddleboard. The paddle's good. How is it to paddle with? Honestly, I have not used it. I use my Oxbow paddle. I don't know. Forrest Gump and the ping pong paddle, Mama, I only like to use my paddle. Yeah, I use this Oxbow. I've had it for 10 years. It's my paddle. It's what I'm used to. Honestly, I haven't used it. But I'll tell you who has used it. Everybody else. For a $400 kit, it's a great value. The bag. How's the bag? And how do I look with it? It works. No, it's not as comfortable as a Go Ruck or a nice Peak Design bag, but honestly, for the price of the kit to come with a bag, I'm not hurting right now. I can walk to the beach. I'm fine. I'm good. I just found out when I went to get it, actually, that it's got these strap keepers, right? Like if you watch some Bo is Mono, if you watch some George Define gear guys, there's a lot of bags that don't have details like that. So yeah, I'm kind of impressed. Removable, toolless fin, no tool required. I've used toolless fins that had like a little thumb screw thing. I've not used one with this toggle. And so far, it's worked great. Now, I can see if you have not paddleboarded before, you should probably slow down and do this carefully and learn how it locks in so you don't lose your fin. I will say, full review here, sand is not the friend of this. So I have had a situation where I took the fin off in beach sand and it was a little bit more difficult to get it back in. I actually used a water bottle to squirt and clean the sand out, I think that would have to be the same for any toolless fin situation. It was not the mechanism, it was just sand and it's a tight fit. So this fin comes off. These fins, I think these would be called thrusters. If you're watching this, I think 7 people have watched this video so far. Let me know, are these thrusters? These side fins. I was skeptical at first. Rubber fins, you're rolling the board up. I've seen this on paddleboards, on inflatable paddleboards traditionally. I like it. Why? Take this fin off, and without it, this is great. This is great for the kids learning how to use it in shallow water, or the adults learning how to use it in shallow water. Now, if you're gonna paddle some distance, if you're gonna go out to that island and go around it and come back, probably want your fin. The other time that this would be really good, my wife and I have taken rigid paddle boards, put them on the roof of the Subaru, strapped them down, Asheville, North Carolina, French Broad River, light white water, moving water. Paddleboarding there is amazing. We had a fin like this called a gummy fin. It flexes and it had the little thumb screw thing. I lost mine. It was the only fin on that rigid board, and so I had less of a directional day and more of a non-directional. So these, yeah, I think they're great. I think they actually are, they add value to this board. What else? Accessories. So we got the bag, we got the fin set up, we got D-rings. We have these D-rings here, rear of the board, front of the board. There is one right here. If you can see that, and I like it. Right here. Why? If you need to tie up to a dock, or in the cases of some people out there, and you are my people, you're gonna pull this not at high speed. You're gonna pull it behind your sailboat. Like when we go out on our sailboat, I have not used it yet, but I want to see how this tracks as a dinghy. Storage. It's got these. It's been great. It's been great. If you're out in our state, you gotta wear a life vest. No, you don't have to wear a life vest. You have to have a life vest with you unless you are in surf break. And I don't wanna make light of it. I'm very serious. My wife and I are passionate about water safety. Very important. You should have your vest with you, especially if your state requires it. This is my vest of choice for many situations, and it folds down, goes in here, boom, rides around like that. I've had some rigid boards that did not have this, and it needed it. It is good to have. You can also take your water bottle, or another accessory, dry bag. Stick your water bottle in there. You might need a carabiner. I've just done it loose like that. Got your dry bag. Say you got your phone. This is actually a scale that I'm going to use to weigh this board in a little while. But this dry bag came with this board for $400. So again, adding to the value. I know some of you already have a dry bag in your backpack. You got another one in the glove box because you like your gadgets. But if not, you can now take your cell phone or your snacks or whatever out in a dry bag that comes with the kit. What else? Accessories. Leash. Now, this is an all-purpose paddleboard. I'm sure there are some strong surfers out there that would take this and rip it in some real surf conditions. If you're getting into paddleboarding, start on not surf. Start on flat water. I can see you taking this to I have taken it to a small beach break, like, and enjoyed it. It's not, there are surf specific inflatable paddleboards. This is an all around board. It does come with a leash, which is great if you're in a surf situation or just for safety. You may have seen the saying out there, leashes save lives. If you're not wearing a vest, if your state doesn't require a vest, if you're not comfortable being around the board, having a leash is great because it's going to keep the board near you if you fall. So, and this leash stretches, it's appropriate. I mean, you can certainly stand in normal paddleboard position if you want to do paddleboard yoga or whatever. I mean, you can get this leash way on out here. Leash works great. Another thing that this leash does, and this works better for, this is height dependent, I think, or maybe preference dependent. Let me take this water bottle off here. This leash is also very useful. I'm going to hook this here just to get it out of the way. Shoulder carry strap. So that's good, right? Like for me, 6 foot, 190, the board's light, it's easy to carry. I can see someone more petite or someone walking a longer distance. This would be helpful. That's good. Again, it comes with the kit. It comes with the board. Repair kit. Now, I don't want you to see a repair kit and think that is any type of reflection on the quality of the board. I'm not worried about this board getting a puncture. I've seen higher end, more expensive inflatable boards that come with a repair kit also. That's Hyperlite saying, we're looking out for you. If you did something to puncture your board and you're out on a trip, you have a repair kit to fix it. I've never had to do that. I'm a season in so far. Get the board, paddle back out here. Paddle, covered this, but like so far, it is durable, right? Like, I mean, I could find something sharper, but repair kit, thank you Hyperlite for including it. But what really makes the value of the package, you've got the bag, the paddle, leash, shoulder strap combo, repair kit, dry bag, and for $400 you're getting this 2-stage pump. A little bit of wear on this one. It's been riding around in the truck with us. We've used it. See a little beach sand right there. I've looked online. I've seen the same pump. Like, I assume it's the same shape, same buttons, for anywhere from $150 to $200. And this is a $400 package. So we've covered accessories. Before we talk about value, I want to do 3 durability tests, 3 torture tests. I'm looking at other boards that I'm going to get to test, and I want to do the same thing to each of them to try to show you as best I can through a TV screen or a computer screen, phone screen, YouTube, how durable they are, right? Because this one's, I mean, that's full of air and it's rigid. So I'm going to torture test it, I'm going to weigh it, and I'm going to do inflation time. And I want to cover that in the same way in every video, as much the same exact way as possible, so we can see, so we can compare boards. I want to be able to test every board that I review in the same way. I want to see how long it takes for it to inflate with the electric pump. So what I did, and I'll try to do as a standard in future videos, I rolled the board up to get most of the air out, closed the inflation valve to start us at 0. I've got a pump. I'm going to use the same battery hooked to the same charger. The charger's plugged into the wall. The battery's topped off. So this is as close as I can get to doing the same thing again. Same battery, fully charged, charger's plugged into the wall. We're gonna run the pump off of that. We covered this a little bit earlier. This is the pump that comes with the Hyperlite Admiral. I can't believe it comes with this pump for the price. All right, instructions here. I'm gonna try to inflate, if I can buy another board, do another review. I'm gonna try to inflate them to 15 PSI so that it's the same every time, similar every time. This board right here, it says 15 PSI. I'm gonna inflate it to that. When I test the rigidity of the board, when I test how much it actually bows, going to 18 PSI on all of them. So for now, we're gonna inflate it to 15 PSI. Why am I doing all this? You don't plug it into the wall. You plug it into your truck, you plug it into your car. It'd be a long way to get my truck. It'd be odd for all this. So if I have it, if I use the same battery plugged in, it's pretty much the same. Like, if you want to argue about it, just hit the thumbs down twice. So 15 PSI, 2-stage pump. You'll hear it when it kicks on, when it changes pitch. All right, start the timer, 15 PSI. All right, we got it set for 15 PSI. I'm gonna time it on my phone. What if I set my phone up? I don't know, get like an awkward text. I don't know if any of you really care how long it takes to inflate it, but we'll do it this way. We'll do it this way next time too. And go. The paddleboard will take shape. There it goes. So that was the 2-stage pump going from low pressure, high volume to high pressure, low volume. All right, we blew it up. 15 PSI, 9 minutes, 25 seconds point. Let's just round it. 9 minutes, 26 seconds, 15 PSI. We'll do another video sometime about how to inflate a paddleboard. You will hear the little bit of blast to the face as all the air in the hose comes out. There we go. All right, 18 PSI, the torture test, the flex test. First test, test number 1. We're gonna set up our sawhorses 6 inches in from the nose, 6 inches in from the tail. If we have a fin box, I'm gonna try to do it the same way every time. Same shims. This one's got a fin box right here at 6 inches. So I'm shimming up just so the fin box doesn't touch, and great. So 6 inches, it's an 11-foot board. I measured it to check. I'm gonna always use Stanley Fat Max. I'm always gonna use my favorite tape measure here. 11 feet, split in half, it's 15 and a half right here. I got a painter's tape right here. This is 15 and a half. Let's load this board and see how much it flexes. Good with the tape. We are 30 and a half. 30 and a half. Write that down. And I've had this in mind for a while. I'm really excited to try it. So we're going to go 8 inches off center on all the tests we do. So 95 and 95 is 190. I weigh 190. This is a good test of, spare me the physics of like, or setting aside the physics of static forces on an object floating in a liquid. There's an engineering calculation way to do this. We're going to do it this way on all of them. Oh yeah. Going 8 inches off center. Here's the other 95er. So We're 6 inches in from either side, 11-foot board. Found the center, and we're going to measure how far it dropped. It was 30 1/4. I put a painter's tape mark on the bottom of the board. We'll measure at the same spot. It is 28. So 30 1/4, 20 minus 28. I'm going to write this down just so I have it for later. Is 2.5. So that's me sitting on it, right? Like that's 190 pounds, and it holds it up. So flex test. This board passes. We're going to do it again. I'm going to move these in so that we can, every time we do it, we're going to go 6 inches in for one measurement, and then we're going to start at the center, and we're going to go 3 feet that way and 3 feet this way so that we're flexing just a cross section. I want to look at both of those numbers on every board that I can test and try to come up with, I want to come up with an accurate representation of how rigid the board is. All right, so we've adjusted our setup here. I've brought the sawhorses in to 3 feet off center in either direction. We're going to measure it again. So I don't think we'll need to put this part on film, but just so that we have a zero. When we move the sawhorses, if the board has rocker, this measurement is going to change. So it shouldn't ever be expected to be the same as it was on the first test, because on the first test, the shape of the board was different. We were way out here. So here we are, 31.5. I'm excited to measure it because I did not notice it flexing very much at this setup. So, sawhorses 6 feet apart. Working off center of the board, we are at 30 3/4. So that's only 3/4 of an inch. That's nothing. Inflatable board, 18 PSI. We're sawhorses 6 feet apart, 3 feet this way, 3 feet this way, 190 pounds, 3/4 of an inch. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with this board. So I zeroed it out when we started. I'm just going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to zero it again. And I'm going to see if I can pick this board up. All right, nothing touching it, letting it balance. 28 pounds, 4 ounces. And I would say that is not surprising. That is a very standard weight, 28 to 33 pounds, 32 pounds for an inflatable board. So what does that mean? Where are we at? We're at 28.4. Nothing's touching it. It's floating. What does 28.4 mean? Because when I first hear it, it seems like a big number. This is not a heavy paddleboard. It is very manageable to carry. I would say I don't mean to name brand names in a weight comparison other than here's my experience. My wife's boat rigid board, our Bic rigid boards, and some brand, I can't remember the brand, some cheap one we have, all rigid boards. My point being, this board feels lighter than those and more manageable in carry. All right, so size, shape, look, quality, rider size, rider size, accessories, torture test. What's the verdict? What I want to answer in all of these videos, I want to do more of these. What I want to answer here is, would I buy it again? Would I recommend a friend go buy it? Yes, I would. $400, get the accessories, you get the carry case, and what really pushes it in from that, like, yeah, good value to great value, yes, buy it. Pump, $400. The pump alone is worth $150, $200. Spare paddle. Here's a way to look at it. You can look on the internet, watch all review, or you can go buy a paddleboard. For $400, this gets you into the sport, right? If you're wanting a higher end board, or you're already into paddleboarding, there are other quality high end boards out there. Another place this really fits is you have a high end board, and you need a board for a friend, for girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, whatever, to go out with you. $400, here it is. It packs into a carry case. Yes, verdict, yes. Yes, I would recommend a friend buy this. I would buy it again. Thank you for watching. I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. I'm not going to watch this. I'm going to send it tonight to a stranger that I'm going to meet on the internet for them to edit it into something that can be used on YouTube, and I'm going to put it on YouTube. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. I hope that it has helped you learn about something that you are interested in buying. Comment below, reach out to me, subscribe. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. I can't wait to do another one of these. I'm going to go pick one out and order it so that we can review another inflatable paddleboard.